Hey guys, I've been a little quiet on YouTube lately because I've been working really hard on an updated version of the Hogan code, and I'm super duper excited about where I am with this project right now. And I was making a commercial today, actually a little ad for the MSE golf system, and I pulled a few of my swings from the updated Hogan code. And I thought it'd be instructive for me to talk about this a little bit because I've made some changes that are really impacting my swing that I want to talk about and just share them with you today. So this is the front of the line view of my golf swing. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I want you to see what I have going on here. Okay, let's watch that one more time. Pretty smooth transfer, so let's watch this in slow motion. The first thing I want to point out is I'm almost looking a little bit Henrik Stenson-y. I feel like I'm really loaded into my right side. Um, I'm really working to keep the toes turned in on my right foot, pointed more straight ahead and not out behind me. I feel like I'm pigeon-toed on that right foot, but at any rate, that's one of the things I'm doing. But at the top of my backswing, I'm going to point something out that I just noticed that is just little kooky for me. So with that toes turned in, I'm trying to restrict my backswing a little bit, or rather turning the toes in naturally restricts my backswing a little bit. But when I get to the top of my backswing here, right there, that's as much as my heel comes off the ground. It's like a quarter of an inch. It's hardly lifting at all. So that's like basically the top of my backswing now. I find that kind of remarkable because I'm such a big believer in de-weighting that leg, and that, believe me, I feel like I'm de-weighting it, but that restriction of my hips, I think, is keeping it much closer to the ground. Once I fully cock my wrists, you can see the cup at the back of my top of my wrist. I have a slightly stronger grip than Mr. Hogan, and the flatness of my swing, that has my club face pointing, pretty, pretty much towards the sky. But I am really loaded behind the ball here, if you notice. And so as I make my transition down, I'm really going to keep my head behind the golf ball for sure, which is one of those major things that I learned during the course of my swing evolution. But I'm pretty excited about this impact position. It's pretty similar to Mr. Hogan. Now, I don't have the flexibility that Mr. Hogan has, especially at the age of 51. So I can't get into as much lateral side bend, but I certainly have very good fundamentals going on through this impact position. Now, I was swinging pretty hard at this one, and I got a kick out of seeing my heel. If you look at my heel, it kind of spins out a little bit. I'm doing a little Bryson DeChambeau there because I'm really trying to swing with as much rotation as I can nowadays. Okay, now let's look at this slight side angle view and see what I have going on here. That's a good pounded golf ball right there. Very nice balanced swing. So here we can see, I'm working very as hard as I can on the Hogan setup. I've got my new GS53 Max driver, which is a little bit longer. It's like an inch longer, but I'm hitting this thing really far. And one of the things I think is kind of funny is, everybody, seems to notice my flat swing, as Mr. Hogan had a fairly flat swing. And after I talked to Gary Player, he said that's largely to do with your dimensions and how you're built. I'm about the same size as Gary Player and Ben Hogan, and I'm trying to have as much shoulder tilt as I can. But even within that framework, if I swing my left arm across my chest, I'm going to have that Hogan-esque backswing. So I don't try to swing flat. And in fact, I try and have my shoulders as steep as possible and swing across my chest. But that's a very solid looking position. And once again, I'm going to point out that foot. You know, it's kind of crazy because I'm as far turned into my right side as I can. I am really coiled here at the top of my backswing. Here I'm driving my knees towards the target. This is, you know, one of my major fundamentals. I talk about this in the MSE golf system. Now, the MSE golf system is, you know, structure fundamentals. You know, there's a lot of very important information there if you want to rebuild your golf swing. My new Hogan code is all about swinging like Ben Hogan, which is what I'm super focused on here today. You know, but ball position, structure, all these things, I go through everything in the MSE golf system. Yeah, that ball is launched. It just disappears. Oh my gosh. So let's look at this swing. Now this is one of my best looking swings. I saw this, and this is kind of what inspired me that I wanted to do an update and tell you guys about what I'm working on. One thing you'll notice is my right leg is straightening a little bit. You know, that's something I picked up this summer, and it really helped me to turn my hips more. But I am going to twist into the ground off that foot. Remember, I don't want to do the Michael Jackson where my heel pops up on my right foot. But watch the twist of my feet into the ground. You see that? Like I'm pushing and twisting really, really hard here. But that heel's not popping up. I'm using the ground, and I'm not pissing it away. Basically, you can see I've created a lot of leverage into the ground here. And as I turn and twist, bam, really, really letting that golf ball fly. Yes, I started to say buff golf. Well, guys, that is it. That is my current golf swing. I'm very, very happy with my golf swing. So I am working hard on the new updated Hogan code, the MSE golf system. I highly recommend it. I mean, it's all the drills and basics that I use to rebuild my golf swing. So this Christmas, you know, I highly suggest you pick it up. Then in 2021, check out the brand new Hogan code. I think it's going to be my major contribution to the game of golf. Hit them long and hit them straight. Hi, I'm Christo Garcia, the founder of My Swing Evolution. I've loved golf my entire life, but I've never been very good at it until about 10 years ago. I got over my depression and I learned how to break 80 by studying the golf swing of Ben Hogan. Suddenly, I became one of the good golfers at my golf club. It turns out there were some swing fundamentals that I just didn't understand. I had to learn to use my legs properly, and all of a sudden my entire swing changed. Trust me, you can become the golfer you've always wanted to be. Just go to myswingevolution.com and pick up the MSE golf system today.